allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Invocation to be Deacon Lindsay from the Mills Chapel Baptist Church.
Good afternoon, everybody. Let's bow our heads. Dear wise and loving Father, first let me say thank you on behalf of all who are gathered here tonight. Thank you for your many abundant blessings, and thank you for life itself and for our measure of health that we need to fulfill our callings, and for friendship. Thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work and the honor of bearing appropriate responsibilities. Thank you for the freedom to embrace you and loving us even from your boundless and gracious nature. I pray for the agenda set before us tonight, and please give the assurance of what would you be pleased to, and what would benefit those who live and work in our beloved city of Black Mountain. It is in your blessed name that I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Reverend. A couple of announcements here. First one is this is about the North Fork Dam improvements construction information meeting to be held November the 20th at 6 p.m. At the Black Mountain Library in the Tyson Lounge. Representatives from the city's Water Resources Department, the contractor, blasting coordinator, safety coordinator, consulting engineers will be on hand to talk about the important construction information and answer any questions. Need to keep in mind these dates because we're coming up on the holiday season. Friday, November the 24th is the tree lighting ceremony at 5 p.m. at Town Square. The following Friday, December 1st, is Holly Jolly downtown, starting at 5 p.m. And on Saturday, December the 2nd, will be the Black Mountain Christmas Parade, starting at 4 p.m. And then following that will be the Circle of Lights at Lake Tomahawk. And then on Tuesday, December the 5th, is the annual Black Mountain Shenandoah Valley Chamber of Commerce Christmas Banquet at the Montreat Center in Montreat. At this time, I'd like to ask Hunter White to come forward, please. Hunter White, son of Mark White, who is retired. I like representing kids like this that we often hear so much about our football team or our basketball team or baseball team. But Hunter is as you can tell from his shirt there, Hunter is a fisherman. And Hunter White represented North Carolina well this year at two major fishing tournaments. The first one was the TBF Junior World Championships held at Lake Wateree, South Carolina, where he finished 8th out of 38 anglers. From 38 states, he finished 5th last week fishing as an adult in the adult TBFM Semi-National Championships at Lake Murray, where he fished against 52 anglers from North Carolina and South Carolina. Very good, Hunter. Very proud of you. Next, we have a proclamation. This is a proclamation of Coach O Day, the December the 2nd, whereas it is fitting and proper to honor and pay tribute to Coach Britton Ollinger as he begins a new chapter in his life in the Black Mountain Shenandoah Valley community. Whereas Coach Ollinger is a dedicated public servant coaching track and field at Montreat College. And whereas Coach Ollinger is dedicated to his family and community and strives to make life better for everyone he encounters. And whereas Coach Ollinger represents the unity spirit of the Black Mountain Shenandoah Valley. Whereas Coach Ollinger and his family will proudly serve as the ground marshal in the Black Mountain Parade, which will be on, as I was saying, on December the 2nd there. Now, therefore, I see Michael Sobel, Mayor of the town of Black Mountain, do hereby declare December 2nd, 2007, in the town of Black Mountain as Coach O Day, signed this 13th day of November. And didn't you say that unfortunately he's in the hospital now?
He was released sometime today or yesterday.
Oh, he was released.
He
Okay.
could not be here today.
Okay. Very good then. And so if you might make sure that he gets this, then if you would, please. Okay, next we have citizen comment. So we've got three. First up is Ruth Pitter.
I'm here representing the Urban Forestry Commission.
Yeah, just so we understand, this is citizen comment, we have 3 minutes.
Yes.
Just so you
And I just want to give a brief update about Arbor Day, which was November the 7th. We want to go on record thanking the town for supporting this day, especially Matt, who worked with us to get the tree planted on that day as a part of the Tree City requirements for Black Mountain. And also would always like to thank Angela and Laurel about their support for our committee. We are realizing on urban forestry that trees are an important part of Black Mountain, and you will see this year an effort on our part to educate both the citizenry and ourselves about exactly how valuable trees are. And we're also going to share that with the town board and with the mayor because they are extremely important in water and in air and in animal support for the town. We also have a formula now to calculate exactly how much carbon comes out of a town like this. And so Matt commented right beforehand that he didn't know about a tree mapping app, which you can put on your phone, but we are going to have an all-out effort to register the trees here so we actually can figure the carbon sequestration numbers for the town. We are going to sponsor conversations, and we are going to look at how we can protect the trees this year in some very active ways. So thank you.
Thank you, Ruth. Next up is Barbara Wall.
Hello, I'm Barbara Wall. I own 104 Broadway, which is 200 feet close to where the Trestle building might go. I just want to say I was born in Black Mountain. I've always lived here except when I went to Cullowhee to Western Carolina, and then I went to Virginia Commonwealth University to seek a graduate degree. And then I came home, and the reason I came home was because I love Black Mountain. I have mountain fever. Maybe Wendell Begley and Maggie might have it, but I've always had mountain fever. So I love Black Mountain as much as I love my dogs and my grandchildren and my son and his wife and my husband to the moon and back. So I just want you to know that before I say this. The Trestle building blueprint looks great to me. I think it would help Black Mountain as you come in off I-40 and come into Black Mountain. It will help the shop owners. They'll make more money because it'll bring in more people. And if you folks didn't grow up here like I did and Maggie, we graduated from high school together, there was nothing here. There was no shops like there is on Cherry Street. There was not much on Broadway. There was an old 5 and dime. We had parking meters at one time. They took them down and then they left the post up forever. There was a couple of dentist offices, and Dr. Love had the building that I own now. And Cherry Street, there was a bus station and the Chevrolet dealership that was the body shop for it, where my father's is. So I'm telling you that Black Mountain has grown, and it's grown in a good way. We have a great little town. It's a pretty town. And I just think that the Trestle building will add something to it. And nothing's permanent but change, and that's hard to deal with. Change is hard for people. But I really think that this change would be good for the town. And that's where I am, and I rest my case.
Thank you, Barbara. Next, Robin Josephs.
Okay. I'm asking on behalf of myself and my Robin
address.
Josephs, 29B West Keesler, Black Mountain. I'm asking on behalf of myself and my neighbors that before any more construction activity takes place on West Keesler, that provisions be made for access to our homes, both for safety and for daily access. I also ask that we receive reasonable notice when activity will start, and that there be improved communication between the town and the residents when issues arise. When we're living with no access to our homes, we'll get back to you and we'll take care of it, just doesn't cut it. I want to do everything that I can to be proactive so as not to find myself and my neighbors without access to our homes and inability of safety vehicles to reach us in case of emergency. 6 homes are to be built on West Keesler. My home is at the top of a 10-foot wide road with only one-way access. If there is any way that the town can mitigate the impact of this construction on current residents, I ask that we explore that now rather than wait until there is a crisis. There may be multiple options, perhaps constructing a loading and unloading area on one of the lots, or widening the road, or other options to explore, but I wish we could explore them sooner rather than later. Extensive sewer work was recently done on West Cotton, Penelope, and Alexandra last month. All the residents were notified. Disruption was kept to a minimum. All hazards were clearly marked. Anything that stuck up above ground level was neoned, and the road was quickly paved as construction was completed. So I know this is possible. Almost a year ago, it's almost a year, and my road still has unmarked hazards. And it took 7 months and 40 hours of advocacy to get the road to be in the passable state it's in now. So really, I'm asking that we avoid this in the future, and I look forward to working with everyone to avoid this in the future.
Thank you, Robin. All right, that does it for citizen comment. Matt?
Yes, you have a downtown parking presentation from Dave Teskey, the owner of Kilwins.
Thank you, Town Alderman, Mayor, Matt, Town Manager. Appreciate the opportunity to speak with you tonight. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, I came from Central Florida. I moved here 2.5 years ago. Just love, and this is where I want to spend the rest of my time in life. Bought a business downtown, 116 West State Street, for the record. Also own the property there as well. Spend about 6 days a week in the business there and look out the window and observe all the good, the bad, the challenges that we all face every day as people come and go through our town. Just to kind of tell you why I'm here tonight is on behalf of what we call the Downtown Blue Ribbon Group. And basically what had happened was I've had a lot of frustration with parking, with listening to customers come in, both local residents, students, seniors, tourists, everybody come in expressing good, bad. The most wonderful thing is they all love Black Mountain. I don't know anybody that comes here and doesn't love it. But there are some challenges, obviously, with parking. And where it came to a head just recently is we had one of my shop owners next to me left a note on a car of a fellow shop owner. And basically said, hey, don't park in front of my store, please. Shop owner came in, and next thing you know, there's a lot of vulgar exchanges. I can park wherever I want. I can do whatever I want. This is free parking. It's public parking. I can come and go as I please. From there, the incident went on to the Black Mountain Exchange. And what we found on the exchange was there's a lot of folks, I think, were in like belief that there is a parking issue. And that also there's people that aren't helping the situation that potentially could. So what was nice is one of the business owners said, let's do something about it, Dave. You've been yelling at me for 2.5 years. And we invited about 14 different folks to downtown, including the mayor, including different folks in the room here tonight, to talk about these issues. And one of the neat things, we went around and said, give us your short-term, long-term goals, your thoughts. What are issues? What do you think is important? And of those, we listed, let's just say 30 or 40 different little things, big things. And what came of that is we identified 3 major problems or issues, concerns, challenges that we'd like to just bring forward to tonight. And basically just to start a conversation, to say, hey, we business owners, residents, are all willing to work with the city, with whomever is here, to improve the situations, improve the challenges, and work together. It's not about blaming or you're doing this wrong or anything like that, but how can we all come together from business owners, again, residents, town employees, etc., to solve it. The first, and I have a little sheet if you need with some notes on it. The first is to look at options for on-street downtown parking regulations. And what we're talking about there is if you look at the main streets of Broadway, Cherry Street, even potentially Cherry Lane and Sutton Avenue, those are what we would call our turnover spots, where people want to stop in to a business, to pay an insurance bill, to pick up a screw from Henson or Town Hardware, to pick up a bottle of wine, an ice cream, a t-shirt, a gift, something that we believe would be better suited to have a turnover involved. And just to give you an idea, on average, Monday through Sunday, our downtown on-street parking is utilized mainly by shop owners and their employees. And I challenge any of you, and that's basically from 9 to 5 p.m., 7 days a week. And by 10 o'clock, typically, all that on-street is 80% full of shop owners and employees. And that makes it very difficult from somebody locally or out of town to pull in and to shop in our stores. An average on-street parking space turns over between 8 and 17 times. You can look at a lot of different research and data out there, but let's just say we take the 8 number as a low number that we would love to see. One of the current studies in North Carolina, there's been different ones. One was in Chapel Hill most recently. It showed that 92.8% of people will typically park less than 2 hours. And 6.8 typically remainder 2 to 4 hours, with only a tiny percentage parking more. And what does that show you is that most people want to get in and out. They want to eat dinner, they want to shop, they want to visit, they want to pay their bill, they want to shop for furniture, whatever it might be. So what we're looking at is there a way for the city to entertain the on-site parking, is what we call, to allow a better turnover system. And we're not proposing meters, we're not proposing necessarily set regulations or anything that we want. We would just love for the city to look at. There's other cities out there, Brevard, Blowing Rock, some have 2 hours, some have 3, some have meters. We don't want to destroy what Black Mountain is right now. But at the same time, if we could turn over these parking spaces, just to give you an idea, on Cherry Street there's about 44 spaces, let alone Sutton, Broadway, etc. If we could just free up 20 spaces times 8, that's 160 parking spaces a day. If we could free up 40 spaces, and that's taking away the employees and shop owners that are currently parking there, 40 spaces would turn over 320 parking spaces a day. And you can keep doing the math. And what we're suggesting is, yes, it's nice, we could go off-site and build a parking garage, we could do other things that maybe in the long term will benefit the city or the town. But right now, if we could look at freeing up some on-site parking, it could create hundreds and hundreds of parking per day. That would benefit every single business in this room, every single resident. The biggest complaints I get, residents have lived here 8 years and have never shopped downtown because they don't like the parking or they avoid the parking. Tourists come in and go, oh my gosh, where do we park? And some of this I'll get onto in other comments. This number 2 concern we brought up was improving signage, awareness, and improved utilization of the main parking areas. And what we mean by the main parking areas could be the churches, could be the city parking on the outskirts. Currently, most employees, most business owners do not use them. Some of them don't even know they can use them. I have residents that come in all the time and tell me they don't park at the churches because they don't feel they can park there. They're not allowed to park there. So part of it is just an education of our businesses to tell people where they can park, as well as educating from the chamber to resources going out. Where do we park? If I want to come to Black Mountain all day and spend the day and shop, where can I park if I'm driving into town? So what we looked at was obvious signage. When I come in from any of the main 4, let's say areas or 3, is it basically, I hate to say it, keep it simple, stupid. The KISS philosophy, do people know where to park? Can they figure out where public parking is, be it a church parking, be it the city, or wherever it might be? 2, the awareness, informing visitors and locals that these are public areas, that you can park in the Methodist Church, you can park potentially in the Presbyterian Church. Business owners should know this. People from the chamber, people from the charter buses, which we'll get into in a second. Where do we park? Where do we drop? What do we do? And a lot of it's just education. And the last one is utilization. Letting folks know that there are options for all-day parking, and there should be areas that aren't for all-day parking. They're for turnover parking to support our businesses downtown. And also looking at, again, where do we park if I'm a charter bus? All our 7 camps that are right around here that bring kids, adults on a regular basis, they don't know where to park. They don't know where to go. And I don't know that anybody in the room has a set place at this point in time, but we would love the conversation to say, hi, charter bus with 43 people from Raleigh, where should I come in? Where should I drop? And where should I park today? And where should the bus from Charlotte? Where should the bus from Clemson that was here last week and 2 weeks before? It's just educating on where can a bus get in and safely park? Where can it drop? Where can it not? So again, we have some really good off-site, I think, areas or close that are, if you draw lines from south, east, north, west, they're short walks if you know how to find those and you know where to park. But if you don't know the Methodist church is there, you don't know the Presbyterian, potentially the Baptist church, the city lot, with those scattered around, most of them can't find them and they don't know. So can we educate our employees? Can we educate our shop owners? Can we educate everybody to say, hey, let's work together to help all of us? And the last thing was look at better utilization of parking on Sutton Street. If you go Sutton down by the railroad tracks, there's parking that's parallel with the tracks. What we're suggesting is looking at that. The road is extra wide on both lanes there. Could those spaces potentially be turned to an angle? And I'm not suggesting what angle at this point in time or anything like that. But that could give us potentially 10 or 20 more parking spots immediately just by restriping. So if you look at these 3 items, we're not asking a lot of money. We're not asking for a huge amount of effort other than us, meaning the business owners, the residents, and the city to work together to find a solution. Because unfortunately, I have a lot of folks downtown that every single day park in front of their store. I have shop owners that leave their cars there over the weekends because it's safer. When they go out of town, they leave their cars there. So we have issues of people that live downtown that need a place to park, and I'm fully support that. But we also have people that just neglect, in my opinion, the parking. And it hurts the tourism, it hurts the shop owners, it hurts the businesses. But just simply potentially looking at some regulations, looking at improving the signage. I mean, almost overnight, you would probably gain 500 to 600, 700 parking spots. I mean, what is that worth in a financial value of building something? But so that's why we came together. We met. We want to work together. We want to share ideas. If there's anything we, business owners, shop owners, residents, can do to further the cause and help the city, help whoever in any way, we would love the opportunity to do that, to share ideas, to share our observations. And part of that too, I met with Matt today and talked about a number of ideas. I met with the chief a couple weeks ago. We shared a lot of good ideas and a lot of thoughts. And there's a lot of little things we want to move forward on to basically making Black Mountain a safer town. I have a child with a disability. There's a lot of people that live here. And we just want to make it, if it's safe for them, it's safe for everybody. From visibility to parking to traffic to everything. And so please understand, we're not pushing anything other than how can we find a solution to better the businesses, the residents, the churches, the city, everybody downtown, to help it flow better and to help us succeed. And as we succeed, then obviously I think the town succeeds. So thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, David. Okay, Matt.
Thank you. On your consent agenda, you've got the adoption of minutes from October the 5th. You've got 2 meetings from then, in October the 30th and November the 2nd. You've got some minutes from there. You've got 2 budget amendments. You've got one to reflect the contributions for the fireworks for July 4th. And you've got a budget amendment to reflect the due diligence fees for the purchase contract for the piece of property that you all had made a motion to purchase at your previous specially called meeting. And those are your consent items for tonight.
Okay, do I hear a motion to accept the consent agenda?
So moved.
Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's unanimous. All right. Next, we're going to have citizen comment if somebody wanted to speak to any of the new business. Okay. Yeah, well, that's where we are. Citizen comments, so come on up. Again, you'll have 3 minutes.
New business.
I'm good, I practiced. Robin Josephs, 29B West Geisler Street. I'd like to open the conversation for creating a position of Black Mountain Citizen Ombudsman Advocate. A citizen ombudsman...
This citizen comment here
I know, but I think this
is-
does relate to every
is to
bit of new
these 2
business.
issues, which is the sidewalk construction
Right.
and the memorial
Well,
benches
it
down
might,
there.
It might relate to sidewalk construction. In fact, it can relate to every bit of business that goes on in Black Mountain. And honestly, I don't know any other way to even get things, I'm losing my 3 minutes here, get
Okay.
things
All right,
brought.
I'll let you continue on this, but continue
Okay,
on.
and it's short, so
Tied in.
Yeah, a citizen ombudsman is an independent advocate for individuals who are asking for help with unresolved issues relating to governmental and administrative services. An ombudsman educates, informs, supports, and enables citizens to engage with and navigate systems and services that can be confusing and frustrating. An ombudsman listens, collects information, and enables both the town and the citizens to create favorable outcomes for all. This past year, I was forced into a position to advocate for myself over 40 hours and 7 months to gain reasonable access to my home and have a passable road to drive on. The issues are still ongoing, and I have not been satisfied, and I don't think the town is either with the current outcome. No one should have to navigate these types of issues alone. I have heard multiple stories from residents about their ongoing issues with the town and with other residents that could be resolved with a dedicated advocate. The perception of many residents, I'm not saying this is true, but the perception of many residents is that the town does not care about their issues, that the town only cares about business and only cares about contractors. They called once, or they called twice, and no one got back to them. Or they were told, we'll get back to you, or we'll take care of it. And their perception remains that nothing was done to help them. An advocate can change this perception. With great respect for town administration, the board, and public works, while this may be an aspect of their jobs, there are only so many hours in the day, and my experience is that they do not have time to devote this specific advocacy role that might also conflict with their own job descriptions, as the advocate must work equitably with the town and the citizens. So again, I'm asking to open a conversation, and if anybody would be interested in talking to me more about it, please do. I'm easy to get a hold of. I will call you back.
All right. Matt?
Yes, sir. Your first item of new business is the request to award the bid for sidewalk construction for Montreat Road Phase 5. That's the last phase of the Montreat Road sidewalk. Put my glasses on here to read this, but it's to award the contract to Site Development Corporation in the amount of $108,996 for sidewalk construction. I know you had, the way we had, if you'll recall, there was a gap from the previous section, and Mayor, you had asked me about what that would mean in terms of the budget, and we got a change order today. It's a $0 trade to not do the section in front of the piece of property that the town of Montreat just purchased at the last section before the gate, and take that money and put it towards the section that we had previously not completed. So your final budget number would still be $108,996 for sidewalk construction, and it would complete it to the section in front of the piece of property that the town of Montreat has bought, and they have said that they would then put the sidewalk in once they had developed that piece of property, as they would be required to do. So they would finish that section that ties back up to the gate, and they would do that part, and we would use that section to do to complete the section and be completed with the Montreat Road sidewalk.
I just think it's a good thing to make sure that that's
Yes, sir.
clearly spelled out. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
All right, any more discussion? If not, all in favor of awarding the bid to Site Development?
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous. Second?
Secondly, the Recreation Commission would like to take on the project of a Lake Tomahawk Park Memorial Bench project. There's a hodgepodge of benches at Lake Tomahawk. Some are in good shape, some are in less good shape, and so they would like to do a fundraiser that involves replacing those benches with a memorial bench that actually doesn't involve, the Recreation Commission would be in charge of soliciting that money and raising the funds. It would run through the private foundation to then pay for it. But I do want you all to be on board with the plan to replace benches there, and they will have memorial information on the benches as they are replaced. I think the goal, I can't think off the top of my head, but I think it's 20 benches. The initial rate here is $2,000 for a memorial bench. So I think, as the mayor had pointed out, there may be opportunities there to repair benches and make changes to benches there that may be structurally sound but need improvements, and there may be some opportunities there to best utilize the money that is raised from the Recreation Commission for this project.
All right, do I hear a motion to authorize Black Mountain Recreation Commission to solicit the donation for the bench project?
So moved.
Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, that's unanimous. Okay, don't have any public hearings, so. Communication from the town attorney.
I don't have anything to board this week.
And Matt?
The only thing that I have, I would point out that we have a couple of board and commission vacancies that are being advertised currently. Is this that's the date for the closing of it? Okay. So if you can get those applications either from Angela in her office or online, Tuesday, December 5th, 2017, at the end of the day. If there are some vacancies that people are interested, if the public is interested in, there are some vacancies on some boards and commissions. I think the planning board.
An expired term on the planning board.
Expired term on the planning board, and the third alternate for the Board of Adjustments. So if people are interested in those, we would encourage them to get with Angela and apply for those. And then finally, I do want to thank Angela and the staff and all the board members that were able to participate in what we call Town Hall Day last week. 2 days worth of, it wasn't 2 classes, it was
3
like,
classes.
it looked like 57 classes of third graders. When they all start moving, you can't tell how many there are. But there were about 110 third graders last week that came. They did a mock town hall meeting. They went to the police department and the fire department, and I think it was very successful. And I appreciate all the work that was put into putting that together, and I appreciate everybody stepping up to help those future public servants to get involved in their community. And that's all that I have.
All right, do we have any comments from any of the town aldermen?
Yes. I'd like to ask Matt, I know that Mr. Teskey and y'all had a meeting.
Yes.
Did you update him on the lease agreements that we're getting with the churches and the signage that has been ordered?
Yes,
and if so, if you will, for the public's understanding, go ahead and repeat that.
Well, we had a very good meeting this morning. And I appreciate all of the input, and I think there's a lot of good suggestions there. I would point out too that we have worked on formalizing our lease arrangements well, they weren't formally lease arrangements, but formalizing lease arrangements with the churches so that there could be additional signage with the Methodist Church and the Presbyterian Church and the Baptist Church to publicize public parking at those spots. And in addition, and Dave was very open to this, I believe, we did apply for a grant with the DOT to do a parking and what it's a little broader than that, a parking and circulation study for the downtown about movement of traffic, and I think that the committee members that he's involved with, or at least from Dave's perspective, were open to being involved in that. So there are things going on currently, and we have secured the Methodist Church, and I think as of today, the Baptist Church and the Presbyterian Church are if they would just if they would move as fast as Methodists, we would have those done too.
And we have purchased signs.
Yes. Oh, that's true. And signs have been purchased to publicize where some of that parking is. So I do think that those. I thought the meeting was productive this morning, and I appreciated the presentation, and I think there's opportunities as we move forward.
All I'd like to say is Dave, the issues that you brought up, this board's been talking about for months, and you've hit the nail on the head as far as the comments about the business owners having to make room and make space for the downtown visitors and the folks that are trying to find parking places. We've been saying for a couple months now that until that issue is resolved in some way, that we're not going to free up a lot of the parking in downtown Black Mountain, because we've been noticing too that at about 10 a.m. in the morning they start the parking spaces are getting gone, and we're going to have to work together with the businesses, with the towns, to try to solve that situation.
Anybody else got any comments? If not, meeting adjourned.